Hello students, welcome to Ekam IS Academy. In the series of lecture, last time I took a small lecture on why NCERTs are important for our UPSC preparation. In the today's lecture, I'll talk about how to read the NCERTs, right? So before we venture into a subject of how to read NCERTs, we will try to understand what is the importance of correctly approaching a reading of a particular book. What methodology do we need to adopt? Okay, what the data scientists, what they say is that there are primarily two techniques of reading any book. The first technique is called the SQR3 technique. The second technique is called the threefold technique. We will talk about the threefold technique in some time. The SQR technique and the threefold technique. The SQR technique is nothing but S stands for your survey. S stands for your survey. Q stands for question. And the three are read, recite and recall. This is one of the techniques of reading a book. Whenever you are reading a book, so we will not take NCERT here, a general book that you are reading, you generally follow this SQR technique. This SQR technique, survey means you try to find out what is the ultimate purpose of this book. Is it for pleasure reading? Am I reading this book for preparing for an examination, or am I reading for some other purpose? When you do this survey, you try to understand the essence of reading that particular book. And when it comes to question, very important, say there is a paragraph. While you are reading a paragraph, generally what you should be doing when you are following this technique is, whenever you are reading a paragraph, whatever is written here, you try to make a small box and say what questions can appear from this particular paragraph, whether it is from perspective of UPSC, prelims or mains. So this particular technique is called the question approach technique of reading a particular book. And the three are, as I wrote, the read, recite and recall. Reading is trying to read the complete book. Reciting is when you are reading it, you are trying to memorize the book, and recalling is you are trying to remember or recall the information that you have read in the book. So this is one very famous technique of reading book. The other technique of reading book is the threefold strategy. In this threefold strategy, what we do is, in the first reading, we primarily read a book like a novel. Basically, you try to give one reading of the book with the intention that you are reading it as a novel. In the second reading, this is when what we do is, we try to read bit by bit. And when you read bit by bit, this is the stage when you take notes or make notes of whatever you are reading. And the third reading is primarily for wrapping up. The third reading is, we do it for wrap up. This is the stage when you memorize it, when you try to memorize it. So this is the threefold strategy or the threefold strategy that most of the teachers or the experts recommend students to follow who are preparing for UPSC. This technique is recommended for NCERT and also the prescribed textbooks. So this ensures that revision is happening at three stages. I'll talk about revision techniques also in some time. But this strategy tries to tell you that you end up reading a particular book minimum 3 times. And the next important question when you are preparing for NCERTs is, because the bracketing is very wide, 6 to 12 years, 6 to 12 years. See, what I personally feel is, say for example, you pick up a subject of polity. For reading all the books from 6 to 12 years, or even if your reading speed is average speed, in 20 to 22 days, you will be able to complete the entire polity related books even when you start from 6 to 12. So, in this way, all the NCERTs can be completed in 6 months time frame. In 6 months time frame, there are approximately 54 books on NCERT, all subjects included. So you can calculate around 20-22 days you will take to complete this 50 at the average of 20 to 22 days for one particular subject, you will be able to cover all the 54 books which are prescribed for NCERT. And the second important thing that you need to understand, when I ask a question to myself, where to start from? Say for example, you are a lawyer by your graduation. If you are a lawyer, definitely the polity books you need not start from 6th standard. Maybe you straight away go to 11th and 12th standard. If you find certain dimensions in the 11th standard which you are not able to understand, then maybe you can go for the 10th standard. So depending on the awareness of a particular domain, or having the advantage of having read that particular subject as part of your academic career, you have to decide where to start. Say for example, I am a BCom graduate. If I am a BCom graduate, it is very definite that I would be weak in the science area. So in this case, I will have to definitely read from 6th to 12th standard, and also because this is a new domain for me after my graduation, the number of days I will take to complete this set of books from 6th to 12th, it can even go beyond this 20 to 22 days. You don't have to worry for that. You don't have to worry for that. So depending upon where you are weak, where you are strong, the number of days what you will take to complete a book and where you start also differs. If you have done your, what you call your graduation in economics, then definitely maybe 11th and 12th, even not 11th, straight away the 12th standard textbook would be good enough for you. As we all know, if you are from a domain or from academic background which is separate or completely opposite to what you are reading, you will take more number of days. So need not worry about that. The box learning is very important. See, NCERTs, if you closely see the NCERT books, you see that lot of information is given in boxes. So even if you have the habit of reading boxes one by the other, you will follow the flow of thought correctly. So if you are strong in a particular subject, even the box learning is good enough for NCERT. You can skip the main content in between. That is only provided you are able to connect one box and the other box correctly without any problem in interpretation. If you are able to do that, you can just do the box learning and maybe try to go at the end of each chapter. NCERT generally gives a column of practice. What you have understood in this particular chapter. So try to see if you are able to solve those practice related questions. It means that your flow of thought is aligning with the flow of the book. You need not worry then, right? And as part of this how to read NCERTs, I wanted to bring a small subset within this how to read NCERTs of the revision technique that is suggested. See, this revision technique is not limited only to NCERTs or is not limited only to your textbooks. It also includes your class notes also. See, scientifically it has been proved that the first revision of whatever you read or attend a particular class, it has to be revised definitely within 24 hours of the completion of your class. This is the first reading has to happen within 24 hours. This second reading should be completed within 72 hours, this second time, and the third revision should be done minimum within a week. And you will also notice that when you are trying to revise, the first revision will take the maximum time. Though it is closest to the time of your lecture, you will see that the maximum time consumption is happening for the first revision, and the second revision will take considerably less period of time, and the third revision, which is after a week, the time taken would be much more lesser. It means as the number of revisions you are increasing, the time to revise the revision also goes down drastically. That is the beauty of revision. The first revision takes the maximum time, followed by the second revision taking a little lesser time, and the third revision will take much more lesser time. But one important what you call suggestion or an advice I wish to give here is, please do not leave it after a week. At regular intervals, try to recall, try to revise and try to recall whatever you have studied. Do you remember correctly or not? If you are not able to recall as it is, it means that the time has come to go for again one set of first reading, second reading and third reading. This is how you will remember the entire dimension. Okay. Lastly but not the least, this is not the only book for UPSC. It is just one small dimension of learning. Please remember this dimension. Thank you very much.